Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1 minute time check, stations.
On the Hawkeyes Sports Network, from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk, brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Your local Ford dealers, Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa football. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes, built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Farm Bureau, who would like to remind you to support America's farmers. Check out AmericaNeedsFarmers.org. And by Authentic Brand, the label you wear makes a difference. Step up your game day looks and everyday style with Authentic Brand. Here is your host, the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Good evening, everybody. Every day is A&F in Iowa, and no more important period than right now when the engines are humming on those pickers in the fields all over Iowa and all over the Midwest. Our farmers are hustling to get this year's crop safely in the bins. And Saturday, the Hawkeyes honor those that work the soil, that produce the food and the fiber, those that raise the corn and beans, the beef cattle, the dairy, and the hogs, feeding us and the world, ensuring our national security and economic stability. Thanks to the American farmer, indeed. Coach Hayden Fry certainly did when he produced the A&F logo back in the 80s when farmers were struggling with that economic crisis that we hadn't seen since the Great Depression. That was 38 years ago. The A&F helmet logo, the decal, is one of the most recognizable in college football. One home game every season, the Iowa Farm Bureau Federation recognizes a former Hawkeye player with a farm family framework. And this Saturday, Brian Bulaga will take his place on the A&F Wall of Honor over at Kinnick Stadium. More on that later. We'll talk with Brian in a few minutes. He is here tonight, and he's got a lot of that black and gold bleed going. First time back in a while for Brian. Of course, he only played 12 years in the National Football League with the Packers and the Chargers. So he's been a little bit busy raising a family. They're all here with us tonight, and we couldn't be happier. Big picture, Iowa football passed the halfway mark of the season Saturday with a, shall we say, workmanlike victory over the Wisconsin Badgers up in Madison, and we know how difficult that is to accomplish. But by virtue of that 15-6 brawl, the Hawkeyes find themselves in first place in the Big Ten West Division with 5 games remaining, and all but one of those against divisional rivals. So the Hawkeyes understand the difficulty in staying on top. And the next step comes up Saturday afternoon against their most acidic rival, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The melee for the Bronze Pig. Floyd of Rosedale pens another chapter starting at 2:30 Saturday afternoon. We'll break it down tonight here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. We're live from View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. And again, good evening to everybody listening in on the Hawkeye Radio Network, and certainly those here in this beautiful restaurant bar where we've got plenty of flat screen TVs to get updated scores from the baseball playoffs. At least I think they're playing tonight, aren't they? Or did they play this afternoon? We'll update you on the scoreboard later. But it's great to be here each and every Wednesday night. If you haven't been here and enjoyed the ambiance of View Rooftop, please make plans to come out next Wednesday night. Well, actually, we don't have a show next Wednesday because next week is the bye week. You're certainly welcome to come out next Wednesday night or any Wednesday night thereafter for the remainder of the season, or any night, and especially on game day weekends. They'd love to host you at View Rooftop if you're not lucky enough to have a ticket to Kinnick Stadium. But for sure, join us every Wednesday night for Hawk Talk. Why don't you make plans yet tonight? We got time. We're here till 8 o'clock. Come on out where you can immerse yourself in an invigorating environment with comfortable, contemporary indoor and outdoor seating. High-definition televisions for watching the game or any game. And on Saturday, I mentioned Football Saturday, View has a great tailgate special to go with live music. You can enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate with a toast at View Rooftop. We're right downtown in the Hilton Garden Inn on top of the View, on top of the Hilton Garden Inn on the 12th floor. Here's the phone number for reservations, 319-519-4650, 319-519-4650. Let's say hello and welcome our friends at KCRG 9.2. They're here each and every week, beaming pictures of our show, the video of our show throughout eastern and central Iowa on the official Hawkeyes YouTube page. Thank you to Erin and her crew. They're here again tonight and are every weeknight, every Wednesday night for the Kirk Ferentz Show. KCRG 9.2, they bring you Hawk Talk Live. If you'd like to join us, we hope you would, on Twitter or on Facebook. We'll pick a question, one that we feel is so appropriate, and the best of the night a little bit later on in the show. And the winner will win a box of merchandise from Authentic Brand. Authentic Brand, a great supporter of Hawkeye football and a great Iowa company located over in Perry. Hi to Clark and the crew at Authentic Brand and everybody around Perry, Iowa, for just offering up a thought, a question, or a comment for Coach Ferentz when he gets here. You could win some valuable Authentic Brand merchandise. Log on to authentic-brand.com. Here are the addresses on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawkeyes. Iowa is 6-1, 3-1 in the Big Ten, having won 3 straight since the 31-0 loss at Penn State. The Minnesota Golden Gophers come in at 3-3 and 1-2 in conference play in the Big Ten, having defeated Nebraska on opening weekend and then losing to Northwestern and Michigan in its most recent contest. Now the Gophers come off their bye. Iowa will be in its bye following the Saturday game, and the Hawkeyes could use, especially on offense, they could use a break, literally a rest, having lost their number 1 quarterback and their top 2 tight ends for the season due to injury. And sadly, the latest occurred at Wisconsin Saturday. Tight end Eric All finished for the year after a knee injury suffered against the Badgers on a crossing route. He got hit hard, went down, and damaged that right knee. The tight end position, most notably, is yelling "next man in" again, with All and Luke Lachey now sidelined for the foreseeable future. So Hawk fans will be cheering for who's next. Steven Stylianos, the transfer from Lafayette and former All-Patriot League performer. He's got 5 catches this season for 54 yards. Steven becomes a huge target starting Saturday. But there are others after him. Addison Estringa might play more than be on the bench. He's been battling some injuries. He would be the backup to Stylianos. Big old Hayden Large, who's been lining up at the H-back or fullback spot, he too has some seasoning at tight end. The running game will be called on again, though, and why not? I mean, we all watched LeSean Williams race for a career-high 174 yards, including an 82-yard jaunt at Camp Randall. LeSean is 60 yards shy of 1,000 for his career, and he will no doubt bust through that barrier on this Saturday. Boy, that was a thing of beauty, that 82-yard run, that beautiful jump stop and go, took off, angled to the near sideline, and nobody was going to catch him. And the interior of the Hawkeye offensive line, the offensive line in general, but the interior guard to guard were just spectacular. I mean, pick a scheme, whether it was a trap, a pull, straight ahead, they were fantastic. And the tight ends obviously were a big part of that as well. And the Hawks got the only touchdown scored on the day, along with a safety and a couple field goals from Drew Stevens. He continues to be solid. And speaking of special teams, Torrey Taylor, how about Torrey? He earned Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week again this week. That's back-to-back now after averaging 50 yards on 10 punts, with 6 of those 10 down inside the 20. Just an amazing feat. I just can't believe how he talks to that ball when it nosedives into the 2 and then goes back upfield in the field of play. And usually Cooper DeJean, Jamari Harris, there are others who are right there to down it. Torrey Taylor continues to have a spectacular All-America season. Got a number of Hawkeyes on the mid-season All-America teams, and we'll mention those as the evening wears on. But Torrey Taylor, even when the snap's a little high, he does something positive with it. And if you heard him on the postgame show the other night, I asked him about the fact that he's also the holder, and does that help him when maybe the snap doesn't come back spot on, or the fact that he's being shoveled that pass on one knee. He said, yeah, no question, holding for Drew Stevens and getting as many snaps as he can from Luke Elkin is really a bonus for Torrey when it comes to punting. And you know, the elements were a little bit iffy off and on. The wind would gust up. Didn't rain a whole lot. You know, it sprinkled or spit on the players a time or two Saturday, but most of the heavy stuff had moved out. So it was just call it an early gray November day. It was so Big Ten, it would give you goosebumps. And I haven't even gotten to the defense yet. The Iowa defense ranks 10th nationally, allowing just 15 points a game. 15. Linebackers Jay Higgins and Nick Jackson have been all over the field. Higgins leads the Big Ten now in tackles. Safety or cashback Sebastian Castro. How about this kid this season, and in particular last week? He reminds me of Jack Tatum a couple times. Certainly Bob Sanders, although he's bigger than those guys. He's not a true strong safety, but he can play safety, and he could certainly play linebacker. But he was all over the field, got that game-clinching interception there at the end that sealed the deal for the Hawkeyes. And with that outstanding front line leading the way, the Hawkeyes have allowed, this is an amazing stat, they've allowed 1 touchdown or less in 5 of its last 7 games this season, and 14 of the last 20. That's just lights-out defense. That is turn-the-lights-out defense. Well, coming up, we'll break down the key matchups for Saturday's Iowa-Minnesota clash. The Hawkeyes have won 8 straight in the series and 10 of the last 11. It's Iowa's 3rd trophy game of the year. And, you know, old Floyd has really taken a liking to the trophy case in the Hanson Football Performance Center. He gets out in the field. That old hog loves the Iowa corn, loves the grazing. The recent rains really brought the grass and the corn to a finishing luster. And so Floyd, no question, he wants to hang around Iowa City for another year, and the Hawks will do their part to hopefully get that done. This will be the 117th all-time matchup between the Gophers and the Hawkeyes. It's the 89th battle for Floyd of Rosedale. In case you're wondering, it's a 15.5 inch high, 21-inch long bronze statue of a prized hog, first played for in 1935. And the all-time series for Floyd of Rosedale couldn't be much closer, kind of like the Wisconsin series. The Hawkeyes hold a slight edge at 44 wins. Minnesota has 42, and there have been 2 ties. So there's the setup for number 23 or number 24 Iowa, depending on which poll you pay attention to. I don't pay attention to any of them. I mean, we're only halfway through the season, but it's nice to be ranked, no question, in the eyes of the media and bowl scouts. And there were plenty of NFL and bowl scouts at Camp Randall in Madison this past weekend. All right, we're going to step out and take our first break. And when we come back, we've got a special guest. We're brought to you tonight by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink and easy to enjoy. Bud Light. And by Pioneer. Pioneer is proud to partner with the Hawkeyes and the Huskers for the annual Pioneer Heroes game on November 24th, honoring local heroes who positively impact the community and stand as an inspiration to others. Pioneer, great Iowa company, proudly celebrating our local communities. We've got a hero on board next with us, Brian Bulaga, this year's A&F honoree, the Wall of Honor. Guest is with us in the building tonight with his family. And when we come back from a commercial timeout to hear from our good sponsors, we'll hear from the former Hawkeye great Brian Bulaga. That's next from View Rooftop on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to US Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I thank you.
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender member FDIC.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
Something big is happening. Introducing Hy-Vee Perks. Now, Hy-Vee Fuel Saver is Hy-Vee Perks. Get the same great benefits like fuel savings. Plus, save even more on hundreds of products store-wide with Hy-Vee Perks prices. Like Tide, H Perks price, $9.97. And bananas, H Perks price, 39 cents a pound. Make the switch or sign up for Hy-Vee Perks and start saving today. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Let's be honest, we all like to be noticed. Picture yourself striding into Kinnick Stadium, radiating both style and comfort, while fellow Hawkeye fans can't help but ask, where'd you get that shirt? With pride, you point to the big screen and reply, it's Authentic Brand. Discover the remarkable difference that apparel with the Authentic Brand label brings. Ask for it by name at your favorite boutique, spirit shop, or retailer, or shop online at authentic-brand.com. It's time for a change in your style. It's time for Authentic Brand.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk from View Rooftop in Iowa City. Gary Dolphin, Coach Ferentz will be joining us as usual a little bit after the 7 o'clock minute here in about 15-20 minutes. Let's welcome former Hawkeye great Brian Bulaga to the microphone tonight on Hawk Talk, courtesy of Farm Bureau. Brian is, he's a marked man. Boy, you're moving all over the place. Here you are Wednesday. The game's not till Saturday. They got you going everywhere, huh?
They do. It's a busy week. But you know what? I'm happy to be in town with my family. You know, the kids are old enough to see the sights, go to practices, go to the facility, and we're excited to be here. Wouldn't want to come in on a Friday. You got to spend the whole week here. You got to spend the whole week.
Why not? You spent the whole week here for what, 3 or 4 years?
3 years.
3 years,
yeah.
And then you dumped us. I was so upset when you left for that professional football contract thing. It was great to have you here for 3 years. And, you know, then and throughout your 12-year career in the NFL, that's just miraculous, because I think the average stay in the NFL is a little less than 4 years, or right around 4 years. But you were one of those guys who played with pain. You played through a lot of injuries, and your pain tolerance had to be great at Iowa and in the NFL, because O-lineman, you're getting beat on.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I went through a few things, played through a few things in Iowa and in Green Bay, and it's just kind of part of the deal. You know what I mean? You deal with things, you go through things. You know, it's a long season, and especially now in college these days and in the pros, now that they're playing 17 games and not 16. But you go through a lot, you get nicked up, and you just kind of got to block it out, put it in the back of your mind, and just keep pushing through as much as you can.
Hey, you got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, I did. Right out the gate. I thought it was going to be easy after that, and it wasn't.
You're a marked man then, right? Oh, yeah. Well, what a career. I mean, 10 years in Green Bay, and all of those with Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yep, all of them with Aaron.
I mean, I tell Packer fans, I said it's one thing to have one Hall of Fame quarterback in Brett Favre, but to have not only two, I mean, Bart Starr's 3, and you can go on, but have two back-to-back. I mean, that's just amazing.
It's like winning the Powerball. You know what I mean? It's like winning that $1.2 billion Powerball. You know, it's unbelievable.
And when you got a guy like that, you want to protect him, so you probably really put it in fourth gear a lot, don't you? I mean,
for sure.
This is the franchise.
Yeah, for sure. It was a burden that us guys up front felt every week. You know, you got a Hall of Fame quarterback behind you. You know, if you do your job, he's definitely going to do his job. So when things don't go right, you know, you got to look internally, like, are we doing our job? Because we know the guy behind us can do his job. And you don't want to get that guy hurt, right? You don't want him feeling any pain or feeling pressure. So it was a lot on our shoulders to get the job done. But we had a great group. And, you know, I think we did okay for him. I think he had some good games and some good years. So we feel good about it.
I'm guessing, I don't think I've ever talked to you about this, but Iowa City and Green Bay, I mean, they're two I've been to games in both stadiums, very similar fan bases, absolute rabid, everything revolves around football game day.
Yeah, I'd like to look at them both as, you know, Kinnick and Lambeau's cathedrals of football. I really do. I think the stadiums in general, they're classic, they're timeless. Obviously, Lambeau and Kinnick, different styles and setups, but they're both timeless stadiums. And then for the fan base, they are. It's the only show in town, right? It's the only show in town. No one watches the guys out in Ames, and then no one watches that. And then in Wisconsin, I mean, it's the only show you got, and it's the best show. So the fan bases are very similar, real passionate, love the team, follow them through thick and thin, and it was really awesome to go from here to there and same college town vibe that you get here in Iowa City and Green Bay.
And with your family from Chicago, Crystal Lake, far northwest suburb, it's an easy drive to Iowa City and Green Bay.
My mom was really happy, right? I go from 3 hours to 3 hours. So it was like a little bubble that she had all the time. Because when going through the recruiting process, it was like, you know, you see all these different schools and that are outside of a certain bubble. And she liked to keep a 3-hour barrier in the recruiting trip so she could get there and back. And then obviously once you go to the NFL, who drafts you is who drafts you. So when it was Wisconsin, Green Bay, she was all for it. 3-hour time frame all over the place. She loved it.
Well, I don't know that we had any Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre's in Iowa City, but we had a couple guys that played like those guys did. I think of Drew Tate, Ricky Stanzi. I'm trying to remember. You were here from, was it 09, 08?
07 to 09, yeah.
09, gotcha. So you were here with Stanzi?
Stanzi, Christensen were the two guys.
Oh, sure. Jake came in with Drew.
Yep.
Or Drew had just left, hadn't he? Or was he still here?
Drew was gone, so it was Jake and Ricky. And Vandenberg. Vandenberg stepped in.
That's right.
For
James
Ricky.
was coming in. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, injuries, next man in. You know all about that, right?
I do.
But Iowa's always had a great lineage of quarterbacks when you were here, before and after, and that's been a big part of what Kirk's accomplished here.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, there's a style and a certain type of player he's looking for at quarterback, right? And it's evolved a little bit. Obviously, leadership is a big component of it. You need a guy behind center that guys can trust and that is a great leader, and he's had that all the way through. You know, Banks, Tate, and then he goes Christensen, Stanzi, and then kind of it follows through. So it's a certain type of guy. Leadership qualities are huge, and that's kind of the way I feel like Coach really looks at players, you know, in certain positions on the team. He's got to have leaders in every quadrant of the team, and obviously the signal caller is a big deal. That's a big thing. Guys have to follow that person, and I think he does a good job with that, especially with the guys that line up behind center.
Brian Bulaga was an All-American here at Iowa, great pro for 12 years with the Packers and the Chargers, and you know, you have a great story. Even growing up in the burgeoning suburbs of Chicago and Crystal Lake, I love your story about your farm heritage. Go through that.
Yeah, so my great-grandfather on my dad's side, he owned and worked on his family farm in southern Illinois, went to war in World War I, moved back, and then he took moved the family to Chicago, and he finished out his career and all that working for International Harvester in Chicago. And then my wife, her side, her great-grandfather owned a big farm in Carthage, Illinois. You know, he worked that. Her dad worked that as well. And they finally just sold the farm. But there's definitely farm heritage in our family. I personally never worked on one, so I can't, like, say I was doing that. But it's definitely in the family. There's no doubt.
Farm heritage. We all have some type of farm heritage in our background. Small town America, big town America. It goes back to the pioneer days when all of our ancestors were on the farm. So the Iowa Farm Bureau, great organization. The Hawkeye Network. It's great to get the two together. And then Hayden came up with this A&F decal 38 years ago now, 1985. And you've played it, you've lived it. You understood it when you played, and I'm guessing you appreciate it just as much now.
I do. You know, when growing up in the suburbs of Illinois, you don't think much about it because it's not really farm town, so to speak, right? And once I came here and I met a lot of the guys that either lived on farms, worked on farms, and got to talking to them and understanding their backgrounds, you come to appreciate it more and more. And then as you get older and you realize the importance of farms throughout this entire country, not just the state of Iowa, obviously Iowa, Wisconsin, the farms are obviously big deal, but you understand the importance of farms in this country and how much they impact us from day to day. Your appreciation just grows tremendously for it, especially as you get older and you have kids and you realize, you know, where does this food come from? Where do the clothes come from? I mean, it comes from one place. So my appreciation for it has grown over time. To get this award, I mean, it's very humbling, it's honoring, and couldn't be more excited to be the recipient of it.
Well, I know you, when you sit down in front of a great-looking steak or a pork chop or a chicken, you know where it comes from, right?
There's no
Double
doubt.
B?
There's no doubt. There's a lot of appreciation when that's in front of me.
Well, let's wrap up with this. The offense has had its struggles this year in terms of points scored, injuries, and experience. I mean, you know the routine. What do you want to tell the Hawkeye faithful tonight about stick-to-itiveness? Hang in there. It's Kirk's system. It's Brian's play calling. I get that. But there's a lot of frustrated people out there. And, you know, two of the three components, defense and special teams, are off the charts.
Yeah.
Offense is going to get there. It's got to take some time. You played on teams that scored 30, 40 points every Saturday. What do you tell the Hawk fans where patience is a virtue?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's hard to tell people be patient with it when, you know, sometimes the games don't go the way everyone wants them to go, and I get it. It's hard to tell people to hang in there, but this isn't. I wouldn't. You know, I've gone through games where we scored low points, either with a Hall of Fame quarterback or here at Iowa, and then I've had games where we've scored 40 points, either in the NFL with a Hall of Fame quarterback or here at Iowa. You just have to trust that Coach Ferentz knows what he's doing, and for me personally, as a fan now and someone that played for him, I trust his judgment, right? You just have to. I mean, he's been pretty good for all the fans for this long at this point.
Not too bad.
Yeah, he's been okay. So I think you just have to trust in the process, trust in the thing. And injuries are a part of this, right? First-string quarterback goes down. Top 2 targets receiving go down in the 2 tight ends now. There's some injuries at the receiver position as well. This is a scrappy team, and this is the way this is going to go this year. And you just have to accept it, understand it, embrace it. It's a defensively led team right now. The defense is fantastic, and the special teams does their job. You just have to accept where this team is at right now and support them, and hope the offense has a day and they perform and guys come together and they play well. So I trust in the process. I trust in Coach Ferentz and what he's doing, and I'm hoping for a breakout every game.
And like last Saturday, offense, win the turnover battle.
Correct.
Win the turnover battle.
That's the biggest thing.
You're going to be there at the end.
Protect the football, stay on schedule, and if not, you got a pretty good punter and you got a really good defense.
They work in tandem together.
Correct. Correct.
Great to see you, man. And we'll see you a lot the next few days, Brian.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Appreciate you.
Nice to see you. Brian Bulaga, ladies and gentlemen, our A&F Wall of Honor recipient. His name will be emblazoned on that beautiful plaque, that medallion of on the wall over at Kinnick Stadium coming up this weekend when the Hawkeyes host the Minnesota Golden Gophers in the battle for Floyd. We'll take a break. Well, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here before we step out for a commercial timeout. 10-second ID break here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. You're listening to Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. Coach will be arriving shortly, and we'll be back with more Hawk Talk from View Rooftop right after this on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through! Yeah.
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hello, Hawkeye fans. This is Bruce Gerlman, and I own Jethro's Barbecue. Have you heard the news? It's really big news. Jethro's Barbecue is now open in Coralville. That's right, across from the Hawkeye softball diamonds on the Coralville Strip. Jethro's is your game day headquarters. Call ahead and order your tailgate barbecue from Jethro's. Before the game, during the game, after the game, stop in Jethro's and eat my amazing slow-smoked wings and my world-famous baby back ribs.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz rolls on. Welcome back to View Rooftop. Thanks again to the great Brian Bulaga for stopping by. Brian and Podolak, those are the two heavyweights, the two headliners, and I'll be joining them on Saturday inside the Farm Bureau tent in Kraus Family Plaza. That's just outside the south end zone where the Hawks walk in each and every home game day. So come join Dolph and Pody and the great Brian Bulaga from 11:30. Actually, Eddie and I will be there from 11:30 to 12 in the Farm Bureau tent, Kraus Family Plaza. Brian will be there. Brian Bulaga will be there from 1 to 1:30 if you'd like his autograph, and I know you would. So it's a great day, always is. Thanks to the Iowa Farm Bureau and the Iowa Farm Bureau Federation for their support, not only of Hawkeye football, but of our wonderful farm economy. Coach will be here shortly as we get ready for Minnesota and Iowa. The Hawkeyes and the Golden Gophers. The Hawks have had Minnesota's number. Coach P.J. Fleck has yet to beat Kirk Ferentz. He's in his seventh season at Minnesota. He's got a sparkling record, 47-30 in Big Ten play, does Minnesota under P.J. Fleck. And overall, he's 77-52. Coach Ferentz now over 200 career wins, 192 of those in the Big Ten. He trails only Bo Schembechler and Woody Hayes for most victories in the history of the conference. So congratulations to Coach Ferentz as he continues, and he's not into individual numbers or individual plaudits. I get that. But he has done a phenomenal job, and I'm with Brian. Let's let this offense find its way through all these injuries and get the job done the way they're getting the job done. Was looking at the notes today, came across my wire service. Senior linebackers Jay Higgins and Nick Jackson have been named to the midseason watch list for the Lombardi Award. The Rotary Lombardi Committee made the announcement last night. Higgins and Jackson, and you've been watching them play like I have this season. Higgins has 55 tackles in 4 Big Ten games. That's almost 14 a contest, 19 more than second place Nick Jackson. So they're the 1-2 tacklers in the conference. Higgins had 18 tackles at Penn State. That's tied for second most in a game this season, and most by a Hawkeye since Jack Campbell last year. Higgins and Jackson have combined for 146 tackles. That's the highest by a Power 5 tandem in the country. And so congratulations to Jay, the young man from Indianapolis, and Nick Jackson, of course, from Atlanta by way of the University of Virginia. The Hawks plucked him out of the transfer portal, and man, what a find he has been. Torrey Taylor, I mentioned he was named to the Big Ten's Special Teams Player of the Week again. He too has been named a mid-season All-American. Hawkeyes have had a number of guys lauded, and as well they should be. Torrey Taylor and Cooper DeJean have been named to ESPN's mid-season All-America unit. Torrey Taylor hit 10 punts last week. He's also on the Guy watch list, the Ray Guy watch list. He's punted 45 times this season, and 19 of his 45 have been 50-plus yards. 17 have been downed inside the 20-yard line. DeJean is fourth on the Hawkeyes with 36 tackles, and for good reason. They're not throwing his way. I mean, they're just absolutely staying away from Cooper DeJean. You want to pick on Cooper DeJean, quarterbacks? Go right ahead, be my guest. But still, he has 36 tackles, 1.5 for loss, 2 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, including 1 in the end zone against Michigan State. He's played 310 snaps this season in coverage without giving up a touchdown. not one score over Cooper DeJean. And how about that play he made on 4th and less than a yard last Saturday up in Madison against the Wisconsin Badgers? That might be my favorite Cooper DeJean play of the season. Well, actually, the punt return's it's hard to overlook that one. And the interception in the back of the end zone where somehow he kept a foot down. But that tackle on, and that just isn't, that wasn't the 4th-string tailback in there. That was Braylon Allen for Wisconsin. It went over the 3,000 career rushing mark last Saturday. Cooper DeJean just keeps coming up with not play after play, but amazing play after play. But he's an amazing player from Odebolt, Iowa. Stand up and take a bow out there in western Iowa. So those are the 4 that have been named to the midseason All-American and watch list. Torrey Taylor, Cooper DeJean, Jay Higgins, and Nick Jackson. And they're all terrific young men. We're brought to you tonight from View Rooftop, live from View Rooftop. Coach Ferentz will be here shortly on Hawk Talk. And we're sponsored by our friends at Quickstar. Hawkeye fans, you can drive your team to a win this season by filling up with unleaded 88 with quick rewards at any Quickstar location. Fuel up with 8 gallons or more of unleaded 88 and you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win great prize packages throughout the rest of the season. Quickstar, a proud partner of Hawkeye football. Our friends at U.S. Cellular are here tonight. We had a handful of our commercial customers on the Hawkeye Radio Network here for a little social hour a little bit ago. We'll mention their names a little bit later on, but thanks to U.S. Cellular, they're a proud sponsor and have been for many years for the Hawkeyes. They're built for great interceptions and better reception, watching touchdowns instead of touch screens, and waving before streaming. After all, game day only comes once a week. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Again, you can reach us on Twitter. As soon as Coach gets here, we're going to get his club car wash keys to the game, and then we're going to get right to Twitter and Facebook as this season presses on. More and more people are fired up and excited about Hawkeye football, if that's possible. But Coach wants to hear from you. On Twitter, you can reach us at Gary Dolphin. That's on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, or on Facebook at facebook.com/voice of the Hawkeyes. Back with more from View Rooftop in just a minute with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given. There will be challenges, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate America's farmers. To learn more about ANF and pick up some great ANF merchandise, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn growing Iowa.
Hawkeyes in Minnesota coming up Saturday at Kinnick Stadium. We're joined by the head football coach of the Hawks, Kirk Ferentz, has just walked in here after another long day of practice, looking at film and everything you do as a head football coach. But congratulations, 6-1 and first place in the Big Ten West. I know you don't pay any attention to that till the end of the year, but Hawks are back in the top 25. That usually means a lot of good things are happening in all three phases.
Yeah, it's way too early to start looking down the road at all, but just really proud of our team and really happy for them. They've had a good 3 weeks, certainly got off the mat after a tough outing a couple weeks back, and just kind of piece things together, and it's basically been play-by-play, not only game by game, but play-by-play. And the big thing is, I think, we kind of know who we are right now. I think we've established that, and had a little adjustment again on Saturday in that department. But I think we're starting to gain some confidence in certain areas, doing some good things, and developing a couple strengths as well. So that's always a good thing. And first place you got to start there is the punting game. Torrey's been a good punter for 3 years, but he's just performing at a whole different level right now. It's 4 years, I guess. Time does fly. But anyway, yeah, he's really doing some unbelievable things. He does it in practice every day too. So it's just it's been a real. It's fun, like any player. It's just fun to see him develop and gain confidence. And so for him to be recognized 2 straight weeks now by the Big Ten is great. And so deserving. So that's a good starting point right there. But I'm just really pleased with the effort overall.
Several Hawkeyes named to the midseason All-America teams. Kirk, we were just talking about before you came by, Torrey Taylor, Cooper DeJean, and those two ravaging linebackers, Nick Jackson and Jay Higgins. Man, are they putting up big numbers? And I know it's more than just tackles.
It is, and it's a lot of different stories there. With you, the thing about Cooper, just kind of came on the scene 2 years ago, and somebody made the comment this year we're going to Iowa State, and he wasn't on the travel roster 2 years ago on the Iowa State trip. So think about how far he's come and how fast it took place. He's just a tremendous player, and plays basically everything on special teams, as well as being a great defender. Both linebackers have been great. Talked about Torrey already. And 2 different stories there. You got a guy like Jay Higgins, who's basically grown up in the program, under-recruited, at least in our minds he was, and not only had a good mentor, but he learned from a good mentor. Not all players do that, but he learned an awful lot from Jack, Seth. Those 2 guys did a great job, and he's playing out there, just playing unbelievably well. And he's playing a position where he's got a lot going on. He's got a lot of responsibility in terms of getting the guys where they need to be, making the right calls. There's a lot of intricate things going on out there that the average fan wouldn't know. And then Nick is a different story in that, a veteran player from a different school, just was looking for a different opportunity in his last year. And he's basically everything we thought he was when we were recruiting him. He just struck us as a really mature, focused young guy. And he's been every bit of that. Great work ethic. And the fun thing about him is, he's a veteran player, yet he's learning a whole new language and a new system. So to watch him improve and really, he's just playing so much faster, more confident now. And that's what it takes. That's why you practice. That's why you have to be in a program and really work at it. And he's done that, certainly. He's just a tremendous young person. Yeah, and you think about the leadership void that we lost with Jack and Seth, just to name the inside backers, and not to mention guys like, Moss, Merriweather on that defense last year. So he's helped, fill that void too, as has Jay.
You mentioned the injuries, most notably in the offense, Coach, and football is a physical game. A lot of contact, injuries happen, but your heart grieves for Eric All, Luke Lachey, Cade McNamara. There have been others, but those are the three main spots on the offense that everybody wants to talk about. And I bring that up because you've gone to the moniker next man in probably more than you wanted to this year, and guys have stepped up and responded. Now they have to do it again.
Yeah, I'd be okay if we don't use that again the rest of the year. Okay. We'll see how that goes. But not throwing our backs. I mean, we had two of our top three backs out for a month. So, just it makes a difference. It really makes a difference. But while that was going on, you watch offensive line, you see those guys growing, developing, gaining confidence that they didn't have a month ago. And, so it's a dynamic process. And, if everybody will have the right attitude and work hard, typically the teams improve, and that's the one thing we've tried to emphasize to our guys going back to August is we should be a better team in November, should be a better team in October if we're doing things right. And I think we're seeing that. And then, the injuries, unfortunately, it's, not to be callous about it, but it's part of football. Anybody that knows anything about orthopedics and then they watch a football game, they would say, okay, it's probably not the smartest thing to be doing. So those things are going to happen. It just it's unfortunate, and it's affects the individual impacted more than anybody. But it does create opportunity for other guys to step up and maybe do some things. And you think the other day we all of a sudden we've got our 4th, 5th, and 6 tight ends out there. So it just kept playing. So it's just really happy with the guys' response. The way they just kept digging and kept doing what they're supposed to do, and nobody hit the panic button, and you just keep playing.
Well, we were digging for the media guide in the second half. I don't mind telling you. And, Cale Vanderbush, Zach Ortworth, heralded recruits, that you're hoping turn into superstars someday. But Zach was out there running around. Pascuzzi, Stylianos, Stringa, he's been hurt off and on. But, yeah, you've got the entire choir listed on the two deeps now, and sometimes you have to by position.
Strangle wasn't able to go Saturday, so we didn't have him out there, and he and Steve, 3rd, 4th tight end, flip a coin on that one, but you get the point there. Scooz has done a really good job, and he stepped in and just played like he's supposed to, and Zach, I'm pretty sure when he got on the bus Friday, had no idea that he'd be in the game Saturday. I think it's probably, I'm not a mind reader, but I'd bet the house on that one. I guess I can't say that either. It's not even funny anymore.
Don't say bet.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I think but that's, we tell him every year, and I think those guys sit there and say, it won't be me. Guess what, it's you.
Yeah, and the same could be said for Kamari Moulton and Terrell Washington earlier in the year when they were thrown in there due to injuries. Well, I heard a lot over the weekend, as I'm sure you did, and you read the papers. And the Hawks rushed for 200 and whatever yards it was Saturday against Wisconsin, one of the best rush defenses in America. We've got this offensive thing figured out. We're just going to run the ball for 250 yards the rest of the year. It would be nice if that happens, but you still got to throw it at some point.
I hope that's correct. First of all, you can't bet on that at this point. We play in a really tough defensive league, and it's been that way for quite some time. But all that being said, the run game's improved dramatically the last 2 weeks. And I think it's just, again, guys getting confidence, guys getting a little bit of a rhythm, and the backs finding, getting good fits and all those types of things. So that's certainly encouraging. And, we're going to have to throw the ball. You got to run and throw unless you just, if you're a pure option team, then that's great. And then if you're a pure throwing team, that's great too. But as a rule, you got to be able to do both. So we'll just keep working on that and, try to find a way to be a little bit more effective and efficient there. And I know somebody cited in the press conference yesterday our quarterback statistics, which I really have not been paying attention to, quite frankly. But the one stat I did pay attention to is he protected the ball the other day, and that was a huge statistic in the game. The turnover takeaway margin Saturday was just gigantic, and it typically is. And when you have evenly matched teams, it's going to be a big factor.
Indeed. Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. We're going to come back after a break, and we'll get into Kirk's Club Car Wash keys to the game, at least what you haven't heard is already focused on with Iowa and Minnesota, particularly where the Hawkeyes are concerned. We're sponsored tonight by many good friends who are here in person, including U.S. Cellular, Midwest One Bank, thanks to Tri-City Electric, a great supporter of the Hawks, and by Travel Leaders Unlimited. We'll come back with more Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield right after this brief pause from View Rooftop.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given. There will be challenges, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate America's farmers. To learn more about ANF and pick up some great ANF merchandise, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I thank you.
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk from View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. They'd love to host you for a game day. The Hawks in Minnesota at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon over at Kinnick Stadium, another sold-out house. By the way, it's black and gold stripe day, I think. Did I read that right? Yeah. I mean, is there anything I'm missing?
So even I knew that.
Yeah, you did know
I knew
that?
that,
Okay.
yeah. How about that?
Well, I got, I mean, it's all important, but I got the commercial portions of it in before you got here, Coach. But you would have reminded me before the night's over that it's black and gold stripe. Okay. Okay. We're brought to you by our wonderful folks at the Iowa Farm Bureau. And, of course, they are the premier sponsor for the ANF decal. And I bring that up because you were here when Hayden first hatched that idea in 1985, and man, as it exploded in popularity. It's as well known as many of the corporate logos you see.
Yeah, Coach Fry had so many strengths, but that was one of them, certainly. The ability just to have a pulse on things, and those were really tough times. And, you know, I was obviously not working in that part of that sector of the economy, but everybody knows, I think, how important the ag business is, or just agriculture in general is in our state. And very, very tough times. A lot of people were really hurting and paying a really tough price on that. And just remember when he did that, came up with the idea, you know, just how well received it was, and still is, you know. And it's just, it's one more tradition we've chosen to continue and carry on, because I think it's just, it's something we can all be very, very proud of. And, you know, really proud of our state and the people in our state. And I think that's just a huge part of our fabric. So, for us to have that chance to wear those on our helmets is just it's a real honor.
Well, here's the list, Kirk. We've got Casey Wigman was first. Yep. Then Jared DeVries, Bruce Nelson, Robert Gallery, Dallas Clark, Chad Greenway, Aaron Campman, Matt Kroll, Marshall Yanda, Tony Moeaki, and now another one of your favorites, Brian Bulaga.
You could put a pretty good offensive line together. Just start right there, an NFL offensive line.
These guys can play both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, that we have a wall in our building, too, for the Iron Hawk, which are, it's kind of whoever was the most exemplary in the strength conditioning program, not only in terms of what, their testing, but their attitude and, work ethic, leadership, all those kinds of things. And where I'm going, anybody made that list or this list, they're in a really elite category. And every one of those guys you just mentioned, I didn't have the pleasure of working with Casey Wegman. I miss that, and gotten to know him over the years, and geez, would he have been fun to coach. But, every guy on there is not only an outstanding player, but they're just outstanding human beings. They were all great team members. Again, I can't speak to Casey, but I think you can figure that one out.
Oh, yeah.
I know
Applington Parker's
unbelievable.
He's got a strong backbone.
Just great people and great team people, and now they're all doing great jobs as adults and raising families, and just the university, we can be very, very proud of having people like that out representing our university.
Hawkeyes bust back into town about midnight Saturday, and what have you taken from the Wisconsin tape that you want to see build on heading into Minnesota? Because you've got another team with a gigantic offensive line, historically a great running game under Coach Fleck. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, first of all, I think we might have pulled in even by 11 or something like that. So that's like a night off. That's pretty good after an away game. The way college football is going. So that was like, actually, sat at the counter for a little bit. It was kind of nice. But, it was a tough game, and we're looking at another one very similar. Coach Fleck's done a great job. They've really built a very consistent, stable program, successful program, and they have an identity. And you just mentioned it starts with their offensive line. They're big guys, like as big as you're going to find. And they have been for quite some time. They ran the ball extremely well against us last year, probably as well as anybody has in 20-plus years, and maybe outside the first year. So, it's one more time. We're just going to have to line up and try to battle these guys and, minimize the big plays. That's something we did well Saturday. And it's always a key, always a key to success, certainly. And then, on the other side of the ball, the same thing. It's really kind of interesting to me that, our defense, right, our defense in our conference has been really good and really consistent. And, earlier, I'm thinking back 15, 20 years ago during the early 2000s, Minnesota seemed to always move the ball. They had a good offense. They'd move the ball, but they just couldn't find answers on defense. And that's, again, talking about what's the identity of this program since Coach Fleck got there. It's clear they wanted to establish themselves defensively. And so my point is, like, they've been in top numbers in the Big Ten defensively the last couple of years. And typically if you're in the top of the Big Ten, then that means you're top nationally too. And they're not the same as us defensively. It looks kind of like us because it looks like, okay, yeah, I recognize that. But it's also like us where it's a little harder to move the ball than you might think. And they've done a really good job. So their coaches have done a great job coaching what they do, and players, most importantly, the players absorb it and embrace it and play really well. So it's going to be a challenge.
Coach's analysis of Minnesota is sponsored by Club Car Wash, the official car wash of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Club Car Wash with unlimited membership starting at just $20 a month. There's no better time to join the club. Visit clubcarwash.com and find a location nearest you. They've had a lot of high NFL draft picks in their secondary for a number of years, even going back before PJ got there. And they've got some good ones. They've got some holdovers. Tyler Newman, I remember him from last year. Trayvon Jones is a fifth-year guy out there at one corner. They're typically big and they're physical, built along the lines of a Sebastian Castro.
Yeah, and Newman even looks bigger on film. He's from Chicago also, and he's played a lot of football for him. Seems like he's been there forever. I'm just going to say the same thing about their punter. I think he's been there about 8 years now. But anyway, 27's a leader back there. He's the guy you better be aware of. And the way they play defense, they use both 27 and 12. They get those guys down
in there. And they're
Safeties.
able to do that because they have confidence in their corners. So those guys are really involved in the running game, and they make it really difficult for you to get clean runs.
They've also had a consistent linebacking core that has been. They're big. They run. They're physical. I noticed some new names in the two deeps this year. Your impression of the linebackers?
Yeah, the one guy that's gone is 55, who's another kid from the Chicagoland area that he played. I think started. I know he started at least 3 years, maybe it was 4, but he was a really good player. But yeah, so they got a younger group right now. I think they're supposed to get 45 back at the weak side position. He's a veteran guy. They're most veteran guy.
Cody Lindenberg, you speak of. He's a good one.
So they're coming off a bye. I think they'll get him back, and that'll help a little bit. But they're active, and it's kind of like our defense. If your linebackers and safeties aren't doing a good job making the tackles, you're going to be in trouble. And fortunately for them, those guys have really done a good job in the box, and the safeties have come down and help support things too.
Like Wisconsin, they've been blitz heavy too on the Hawks the last few years. Back over to the offensive side of the football, Kirk, we've seen Kelly Makis at quarterback for a couple years now.
Yep.
And he's got some talent. Athan does. He's 6'4". He's a big guy. I'd forgotten he's that tall. 6'4", 215 pounds. He's thrown for 800 yards. 6 touchdowns. He's been intercepted 6 times. So they're working with him there, I'm sure, in practice this week to limit the turnovers.
Yep, and he ended up playing against us last year. Tanner Morgan played a lot of good football for them and wasn't able to go a year ago. So, we got to play against him last year. He's a young guy that we were very interested in the recruiting process, and he chose Minnesota. So, we got a lot of respect for him that way, and, we're going to have to be at our best, certainly.
Looks like the next one in a long line of outstanding tailbacks is freshman Darius Taylor, young man out of Detroit. He's averaging 6 yards a carry, 4 touchdowns in his debut year. That's pretty good. What do you like about him?
Not bad, and he's been out for the last couple of weeks, so that we expect him to be back too. Sure. And just a really good player. He's actually from Cohen Entringers High School, so we're familiar with him as well. And he ended up picking Minnesota. He's really off to a great start in his career. I think he's coming off some type of a leg injury, but we expect to see him Saturday, so we're going to have to try to keep him bottled up.
And speaking of 6-7-year guys, you go out to wide receiver, Chris Ottman-Bell. I mean, he's got to be close to Social Security. I'm telling you.
He has been there forever. That is true.
And he's from Kankakee. He's outstanding. Great talent. Daniel Jackson, speedster from Kansas City. Brevin Spann-Ford, he's been hanging around that tight end spot for a couple years. He's gigantic, 6'7", 270. So their offensive line is huge. I mean, they're always big on the offensive side of the football at Minnesota, and their wideouts can really fly down the field.
Yeah, they can. They can. So it's it's going to be just another week-to-week challenge.
It's a Big Ten,
right? Seems to be the way it is. Yeah, and it's going to be a big challenge for us. But yeah, they're a very big physical team on both sides, and I think it's all by design. Again, they've been there now. They've got an identity and have recruited well to what they want to be.
The Hawkeye offensive line, just majestic, particularly guard to guard on Saturday. And I know you had some traps and some pulls. Everybody was involved. But in unison, that might be the best, at least that I can remember seeing the offensive line, maybe in the last 2 years.
Yeah, and it really came at a critical time because, with Eric going out, that certainly impacted our ability maybe to threaten some areas on the field. And, to be able to run the ball effectively is just, it's always important. But that kind of game was really important. We were trying to keep the ball on the ground and help burn some clock so our defense wouldn't be out there an awful lot as well. So it's just, it was good complementary football from that standpoint. And you can't do it unless your line's doing well. And then I want to give Lee Sean a lot of credit, too, because, he had a terrible play to start the third quarter, 3 weeks back against Michigan State. And, he wasn't running great that night, and quite frankly, and then that play was just awful and gave them not only the ball but a touchdown. So, for him to bounce back, I thought he did a good job in that game, came back in the fourth quarter and really played well and helped us pull the game out. And then the last 2 weeks he's been really running well. So, and, he was huge the other night, had that 82-yarder. It wasn't a clean, waltz to the end zone. He had to do some things in there to get free, and then he finished the run. So, just so happy, and that's kind of represented the team. I mean, just the fact that sometimes things don't always go well,
especially in a competitive environment like we're in every week. And, you're going to have bad things happen typically. It's just part of the game. But how you respond, how you bounce back or not bounce back really tells a lot about you. So really want to compliment LeSean on that. And I think he made a point the other night about saying the same thing about Drew Stevens. Yeah, sure. Uncharacteristically missed a couple 2 weeks ago here in Kinnick. And he was right there where we needed him the other night. And those every play's big in a game like that.
Those 2 field goals were critical, particularly the last one that put you up 2 scores. Kirk's Club Car Wash keys to the game are sponsored each and every week by Club Car Wash. Visit clubcarwash.com and find a location nearest you. We're going to head to Twitter and Facebook when we come back after our next break. Hawk Talk with the Coach is brought to you by Hudson's Southside Tap, your Hawkeye game day headquarters. Savor $6 House Bloody Marys. Catch the Hawkeye Radio Network post-game show after every home game. You can stop down at Hudson's Tap and partake in the post-game show. Feel the Hawkeye spirit at Hudson's on Highway 1 West, Iowa City. Go Hawkeyes. We'll go away for just a couple minutes, hear from our wonderful sponsors, and then come back to View Rooftop with more Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/corngrowsiowa.
See you, Brian. Brian Bulaga, our ANF, American Eats Farmers recipient this weekend, up to shake Coach's hands. We appreciate Brian bringing his family back here from where they live down south this week, and he's enjoying the return trip to Iowa City. Of course, he played 12 years in the league. He hasn't been back that much. He's been busy, Coach.
He's been really busy, and especially during the season, and that's a good thing. What a career he's had, and you think about it, I'd forgotten he was the youngest player ever to start a Super Bowl back after I think it was the 2010 season, so it would have been 11. 21 years old and playing right tackle for the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. And what a great experience.
That's a memory.
What a way to start. Yeah, what a tremendous career. It's been great to have he and his family here the last 2 days. And he stopped in and visited with the linemen last night, sat in the line meeting. Linemen just can't get that out of their system. That's a great thing about it. And
that is great.
So how good was that for our guys on our team to, get a chance to, rub elbows, talk, commiserate a little bit, and out of practice today, and spoke to the entire team certainly, and be here with his family. It'd be great to have his mom and dad back here on Friday. So just it's one of the neat things about this whole thing. And for us, it's fun to see these guys that played college football here, and now they're raising their families and off to the next phases of their life. It's a lot of fun.
Abby's a Hawk. She's from Quincy. Right down the road, so it's great to have the Bulagas in town for the next few days, and they'll watch, like all of us will, Iowa, Minnesota, 2:30 for the kickoff, 12:30 for the pregame show here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Welcome to the folks at Green State Credit Union here tonight. Green State, proud supporter of Hawkeye football and Hawkeye athletics in general. We're at View Rooftop, located on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden Inn in Iowa City, featuring a distinctly modern escape filled with a unique outdoor design. Open all day on Hawkeye football game days with tailgate specials. View Rooftop provides a high-energy, memorable experience with food, music, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline. The number for reservations, 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650 to set up your View Rooftop reservation for the Hawks and Minnesota or any remaining home game. All right, Kirk, let's go to Twitter. Let's go to Facebook, see if we can pick out an authentic brand winner for the night. Let's start with Twitter. Bjorn, Coach, just wondering what role Spencer Petras is playing this year. What is he allowed to do, and how has he helped this year's quarterbacking?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Speaking of the offensive line, he's kind of taken an interest in what they're doing. So it's been interesting. So, long story
short, quarterback.
Yeah, he's inquisitive, and he's first of all, he's been rehabbing his injury, which was fairly significant and serious, unfortunately. So rehabbing that, and then he's been just helping us out. It's been great to have him around. A very sharp guy, good mind, and it's been great to have his perspective, I think, added to the room. And I think he has a strong interest in coaching, down the road here. So I think it's mutually beneficial. But he just helped out with the guys, and it's just always good to get a different perspective.
Appreciate the checking in there, Bjorn. Greg, Coach, what does the rehab program look like? Who do the student athletes work with? And who ultimately decides when a Hawkeye can return to active play? There's one we haven't had.
Yeah, so, just as far as the decision-making, there are two people involved there. And one vote's a lot bigger than the other. So, the most important vote is the medical staff. They determine if a player is, cleared to play or not. And ultimately, Brian Wolf's our team physician. So if it's an orthopedic issue, he'll have the final say. But we have a staff of doctors at work, and you got various specialists, etc. So you got that going on, and then once a player is cleared medically, then they come back to the field, and then we have to determine as coaches if they can play effectively. And you don't want to put a guy out there where he just isn't able to do what he needs to do, and so he's not going to look good, or he possibly could be at risk, just because he's not able to. Maybe react the way he needs to. So that's kind of how it works. But typically, once a guy's cleared by the medical staff, then then we make that decision. It's rare when you choose not to play a guy, but it's happened. Historically, it's happened. And the other thing I'll just interject, I think really, if I look at it from my time here in the 80s till now, the whole world of college football has changed, and the amount of time our guys invest year-round and spend out there is significantly more than it was in the 80s. And right along with that, I would say everybody's jobs have changed as a result of that, and then maybe most notably are the athletic trainers, because now when our guys do train during the summertime, and it's mandatory, the training staff has to be there. We never train at all without medical supervision for obvious reasons. So their world has changed a lot too, and I can't applaud them enough. And I think a lot of it's unsung. And I can only emphasize just how important it is, the work that they do, not only their expertise in getting a guy back, especially coming off these long injuries, and we've had, unfortunately, more than our share of those, There's a real physical component to it, but there's also maybe more significantly a real mental component to it. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times you talk to a player who's come back from an injury and just, they'll share with you how important it was, the encouragement they got from the training staff. It's a lot of one-on-one time, lonely hours. And so I just want to applaud them because I think there's a real segment of what they do that kind of flies well under the radar. And, for a team to function, a team to be successful, everybody's got to be helping out, and they do a great job.
We talked about the offensive injuries. Y.A. Black did not finish the game last week. What's his status, right? Granted, it's only Wednesday, but what do you think? And he'd love to play against his home state, I'm sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a press conference. You're drilling me here.
Well, this is
I'm teasing.
This is my personal press conference.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing. Yeah, we'll see. We were not sure he'd make it last week, and he made it somehow, some way. He made it. So it was encouraging today. He felt a lot better than he did yesterday than the day before. So we'll wait and see. I learned last week not to rule him out. And to your point, this is his home state team, and that tends to get guys healthier sometimes. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
We'll hope he's medically cleared. How's that?
Exactly.
Yep,
okay.
That's
Exactly.
good.
We'll find out.
On that note, you got to be so proud of we talked about the linebackers in the secondary, but I mean Aaron Graves, Bodie calls him the grave digger.
Yeah.
Now you knew that was going to happen, but the younger guys in unison with guys like Joe and Deontay and I know I'm going to leave somebody out, Y.A. most notably, but they have just done a great job.
Really have, and that's the beauty of this whole thing. Who's going to step up? Who's going to come along? And I think you might remember I mentioned one thing about Aaron that really impressed me, especially last spring. It's unusual to see a kid who's that young in the line positions, but in the line positions, it's a little different because there's a big difference, 18 to 22 or 23. When you talk about guys in the interior and that size, typically that maturity is a big factor. And Brian was an exception to the rule too. He played as a freshman in the offensive line, and he wasn't surviving. He was playing like he was looking really good. And that's kind of Aaron, to get a guy that age who had the kind of tempo that he practiced at last spring. He was a full day's work for whoever's trying to block him. So you just kind of felt like, at some point it's going to click for him and, good things are going to happen. And I think we've been seeing that the last, 5-6 weeks. And he's still a really young guy, so it's just all in front of him right now. But he goes hard.
He separated the quarterback from the football the other night, and he's got a lot of great football. And Ethan Hurkett, I knew there was another young guy I wanted to mention. He's healthy. He is a terror. All right, we'll come back with more tweets and Facebook posts in just a minute. Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, and Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. Iowa's corn farmers salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like top athletes, Iowa's farmers lead the nation in corn and ethanol production. Follow Iowa Corn on Facebook and learn how corn grows Iowa. And another proud supporter of Hawkeye football is Wellmark. The exciting moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for it all as your healthcare champion. Making healthcare more affordable with more choices for care and peace of mind, no matter what comes your way. Find the plan right for you at wellmark.com/touchdown. And hopefully we say that a lot on Saturday. Iowa, Minnesota. More Hawk Talk in just a minute with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Does your company attire make you feel like you're always fourth and long? It's time for a change. Hand the ball off to Authentic Brand and watch your team transform into MVPs. On game days, our team dresses like champions in Authentic Brand. Ensure that your company's reputation remains untarnished by using nothing but the label specifically designed to display your company's identity. Ask your supplier for Authentic Brand products and see for yourself why it's more than just a label. It's a statement.
We are back at View Rooftop, downtown Iowa City in the Hilton Garden Inn. Gary Dolphin with Coach Ferentz. No show next Wednesday night because of the bye week. We'll be back here 2 weeks from tonight. Now, you're certainly more than welcome to come on out any night, including Wednesday, here to View Rooftop. They'd love to have you. Great food, great ice-cold beverages. Coach, we've had a good start halfway through the season. The bye week's coming up now. And on that note, we have our Authentic Brand merchandise winner tonight. It's Ken on Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Ken says, Coach, what is the team doing differently in practice this week? How about the next 2 week span you have with the bye week after this game? How do you best take advantage of the opportunity? Well, I don't know that you do anything different this week. You got a very good opponent coming in, but it's a good question about looking down the road, people that play on the next 2 weeks through the bye.
Yeah, it is. So we this is finished week 7, so we're in week 8 right now. In the combined camp with that 4 weeks there. So each year you just start, at this time of year, you start trimming some time off a little bit, shorten the practices down. I'm not talking about major, might be 5-6 minutes at the most, but it's funny how little things like that mean a big thing to the players. It's just kind of, there's a psychological component. And then we also scale back on the hitting, the actual, contact. I don't want to say live contact because we don't really tackle in practice, but it's pretty good tempo stuff. So we try to manage that a little bit. And Ray Braithwaite and his staff, mentioned Cammie Paul and the medical staff, then Ray Braithwaite and his staff, strength conditioning, really do a good job of tracking things that reflect, our energy levels, all those kinds of things. So try to monitor that and acknowledge where we're at in the season. But that's kind of what it is. And then next week we'll handle that a little bit differently, try to rest the veterans, work the younger guys, continue to try to move them forward. And just in general, with bye weeks, a big part of it is when is your bye week. If it's week 4 or week 5, you treat it a lot differently than you would in terms of week 7, 8, 9, 10. I personally would rather have the bye week at this time of year instead of early, me personally.
All right, good answer. And for Ken, enjoy your box of Authentic Brand merchandise, whether you're in search of top-notch company-branded merch or apparel that proudly showcases your Hawkeye pride. Ask your supplier or local retailer for Authentic Brand by name. All season long, our broadcast team exudes style with Authentic Brand attire. It's the brand we trust for premium game day looks and everyday styles. By the way, the Hawks are bowl eligible. I didn't mention that earlier, but Coach, congratulations on that note. And Travel Leaders Destinations Unlimited, Iowa's official bowl travel tour, is proud to announce the Hawks are bowl eligible. Travel Leaders Destinations Unlimited is Iowa's leader for game tickets, air travel, and hotels. Sign up to automatically receive official bowl travel information at HawkeyeSports.com/Bowl Central. In the meantime, there's plenty of home football left. You can upgrade your game day with Hawkeye Village with tickets, pregame extravaganza, all you can eat drinks, more, all at Hawkeye Village. Perfect for your family or for large groups. Limited availability, though. So to get your tickets, visit HawkeyeSports.com. Click on the Hawkeye Village link. Join the Hawkeye excitement at Hawkeye Village. Kirk, we got about 30 seconds. Deacon Hill, he had to be just exhilarated to go to his old school up there and come out of there with a win. And he, like you say, took care of the football.
Really happy for him. I thought he did a good job, and we're going to have to grow with him. That's part of the deal. But he's kept his boys out there, put us in a position to be successful, and it was just a good team win.
Congratulations on the win, 6-1. We'll see you Saturday, Coach, over at Kinnick.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Gary.
Kirk Ferentz, I'm Gary Dolphin. Thanks for joining us. Again, no show next Wednesday. We'll be back here 2 weeks, and we'll talk at 12:30 Friday on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Saturday, excuse me, the Hawkeye Radio Network, Iowa, Minnesota. Good night, everyone.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network, from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. Hawk Talk has been brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Your local Ford dealers, Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa football. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Farm Bureau, who would like to remind you to support America's farmers. Check out AmericaNeedsFarmers.org. And by Authentic Brand, the label you wear makes a difference. Step up your game day looks and everyday style with Authentic Brand. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.